This video concerns a slightly different subject matter. My intention was to put out part 4 of my response to Mike Williams' timeline found in his 4.5-hour presentation. However, before doing that, I am putting out this video first because part 3 of my timeline response video, posted just a couple of weeks ago, was taken down by YouTube as per a complaint by Mike Williams, the Sage of Quay. I received a copyright strike. So just to clarify, this is an automated, no questions asked manual process. When YouTube receives a complaint from the copyright holder, the video is simply and immediately taken down to comply with copyright law. The matter is then in the hands of the complainant, the Sage of Quay, who has to prove that the matter is being dealt with legally. If an actual human being from YouTube had viewed my video, there is no doubt that my video would never have been taken down in the first place, as it is clearly a work of criticism. I have naturally lodged a counterclaim and I'm now waiting to see what happens. As a side note, the copyright complaint happened on 9/11/2022. I would like to add, before continuing, that I never started making these video responses for some tittle-tattle, gossipy, online war, fight, spat, etc., and would just like to, and will, continue with my legal right to respond and critique Mike Williams, the Sage of Quay's work. There are just a couple of points that I do feel need to be addressed, however. After my copyright strike, I emailed Mike Williams to thank him, and I invited him to a live discussion where we could address the points that I have discussed in my videos thus far. I even offered to list those points so that he would have adequate time to prepare. Of course, I never received a reply regarding my invitation. The irony in all of this is that if Mike had allowed some level of discussion regarding his 4.5-hour presentation, if he didn't censor his comments section to leave only the positive comments praising his presentation, I might not have even bothered to make my video responses in the first place. And it is somewhat ironic indeed that I am being censored, like so many of his viewers, by a truther who makes quite a deal of claiming to be a victim of censorship himself. Mike has very often alerted his viewers to what he claims is a concerted effort by Google and YouTube to take down his work. In fact, he has dedicated entire videos to the subject of his presentations being censored. This works to Mike Williams, the Sage of Quay's advantage, of course. It helps to embellish an image of the controversial truth seeker. So back to the matter of Mike's copyright claim against me. In 2008, a judge ruled that the content owners, in this case Mike Williams of course, must consider fair use before issuing takedowns. The courts made it law that the notice of a copyright claim must include specific information, including a statement made under penalty of perjury, that the copyright owner is not filing a fraudulent copyright notice. Sending a false DMCA, Digital Millennium Copyright Act, takedown notice can hold severe penalties, including damages and attorney fees. And by default, of course, YouTube abides strictly with this law. No one could ever watch my videos and ever reach the conclusion that I have stolen or tried to make it appear that Mike's graphs and charts and his narration are mine. My videos clearly state in the titles that they are a response to Mike Williams. The screenshots of Mike's graphs and charts always show the source. My inclusion of Mike's narration always clearly shows his name, the timestamp and the source. It is abundantly clear then that indeed my videos are for the purposes of criticism and therefore covered by fair use. Mike Williams knows this to be the case and that I am not stealing his work. Mike Williams' copyright claim then is a false and fraudulent claim. And finally, along with Mike's fraudulent copyright claim, he also submitted a fraudulent privacy complaint to YouTube. This was concerning the inclusion of a screenshot of his hypnotherapy website. This complaint was not upheld by YouTube, and I've heard nothing more. Well, how can something in the public domain be considered private? In his email to me, Mike Williams accused me of revealing his home information. Clearly, this is not the case. Mike Williams reveals it all the time. He makes it no secret that he lives in Raleigh, North Carolina. He has introduced his video updates along with the state of the weather in Raleigh, North Carolina. I merely showed his public webpage that clearly informs us of his location. Contrary to Mike's accusation, I actually blanked out his phone number as a gesture of courtesy for his privacy. Worse than this though, Mike Williams accused me of doxing in regards to the content of this privacy complaint. Doxing is a fairly recent term, and on the web is described as a form of cyberbullying that uses sensitive or secret information, statements or records for the harassment, exposure, financial harm or other exploitation of targeted individuals. Given Mike's heavy use of hypnotic techniques and NLP throughout his 4.5-hour presentation, I felt it was important to inform his viewers of this fact and of his profession as a hypnotherapist. Again, this is no secret. Mike Williams has a YouTube channel devoted to the subject of hypnotherapy and links that take the viewer to his Facebook hypnotherapy page and to his website. No private information has been revealed whatsoever. Mike's claim of doxing, which he has submitted to YouTube, is, as he well knows, completely unfounded and is a serious allegation. I feel very strongly that Mike Williams' 4.5-hour presentation is not the result of research as he states, but is in fact, and as I have clearly shown, a complete fabrication and a concerted effort using hypnotherapy techniques and NLP to fool and deceive his viewers. Mike Williams' attempted censoring of my video using a fraudulent claim and his knowingly fraudulent allegations regarding doxing speaks volumes about himself and about his identity as a so-called truther. We shouldn't have to elaborate too much upon the fact that if someone is attempting to censor someone else, then, in my view at least, this shows strong evidence that they feel threatened, which in turn shows strong evidence that they have something to hide.